a lot of these initial books will be either for atheists or for people who debate atheists or who get into discussions with atheists. I think these are some very good resources. And if you have any good books that I didn't list, please tell me. I'm always looking for the next good book. So in any event, I'm just going to start listing them off. It's going to be very boring, and but that's how I use YouTube. Is I share what some of the things that I found, and if you found or know of some things that are even better, let me know, please. But if I'm going to do a book video, I got to mention the Holy Bible, King James Version. I would recommend for any new people that are just learning about the Bible and Christianity to start off with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. I forget where I heard this, but they basically said that, if Jesus Christ didn't exist, right? Let's just imagine that he didn't. But if I read those 4 Gospels, the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, I would have to worship the person who created the character. I mean, that's how powerful the words are to me when I read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John of the Bible. And that's a true statement. I mean, I believe that Jesus Christ really existed and that those are accurate depictions of his life and the miracles that he performed. But, if let's just imagine for a second that was all made up, I would have to worship the person who made the stuff up. I mean, it's just a very powerful story, and it rings true in my heart of heart. And there's actually a book called The Case for Christ and The Case for the Resurrection, I think by Lee Strobel, that goes into that in detail. I'm going to, that's on my things to do as far as to read those. But in any event, I can't make a book video without mentioning the Holy Bible. Okay, let's go on. I've made videos about this particular writer in the past, but his name is Matt Chait. He's a spiritual yin and yang guy, but I'll tell you, I've never seen anybody make a scientific, reasonable, logical case for the spiritual plane of existence, stronger than Matt Chait. And I'll put the website down here in the sidebar, but just Google Matt Chait, C-H-A-I-T, Beyond Evolution. He's not a very popular writer. He's kind of tucked away in the corner of the internet, but he's a phenomenal thinker. It's just a tour de force kind of writing that really gives you a lot to think about. And the world that we see, and consciousness, desire, the power of will. You just got to read it. I can't cover all of his writings in one video. But I'm running out of time, so I'm just going to list these books really quick because I don't want to run out of time. 2 books by Michael Behe, The Edge of Evolution and Darwin's Black Box, are excellent books that make a case for a creator, an intelligent designer. You've also got the latest one I'm reading, about 80% through it. It's called The Case for a Creator by Lee Strobel. And it's really one of the latest books. And it's a great book. Like I said, I'm about 80% done. I'm almost done with it. And he's made a very powerful case. I can't imagine an atheist reading through that book and not questioning a materialistic, physicalism point of view. You're not being honest with yourself. I mean, if I had to pick three things, Case for a Creator is definitely in one of the top 3. The next one is Nothing Created Everything by Ray Comfort. Okay, that's a really good book. The atheists will make fun of him and call him the Banana Man, but he wrote a really good book called Nothing Created Everything, and it makes a lot of sense. There's another book called Finding Darwin's God by Ken Miller. Ken Miller is a Christian, but he also believes in evolution. I don't agree with the arguments he puts forth. That evolution is true and God can still exist. I believe that evolution is simply not true, and the reasons put forth by Michael Behe and Lee Strobel in their books make me think that the Cambrian explosion, irreducible complexity, the power of will, the power of consciousness, the power of desire, those things don't come about by inanimate materials banging up together, by random chance and natural selection. It just doesn't happen. But let me go on because I'm running out of time. Everything ever written by C.S. Lewis. I know there's been some discussions lately about hell and would a just God put a person in hell forever. C.S. Lewis wrote a book called The Great Divorce, using allegory to specifically discuss hell. And hell is something we bring on ourselves. God wants us to come to Him. He wants us to find the path to Him. He's created a universe and created this wonderful world so that we can find the path to Him. In the Bible it says, "Be ye perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect." And God doesn't mess around. He didn't say anything that is half measure. He didn't say, "Be ye perfect," and not provide us a pathway to get to perfection. So it's an amazing, wonderful, powerful thought that our Creator wants us to be perfect. And you say, Rudy, you're crazy. How can we be perfect? We're full of sin. We're full of imperfections. Sure we are. We all fall short of the glory of God. But our Creator intention, ultimately, for you and me, is to be perfect. And He's going to provide us a pathway to be perfect. And it's our duty and our responsibility as creatures of free will and, ability to make our own decisions to work towards that perfection. And not to be arrogant, not to be full of, boastfulness, but to be as Jesus Christ taught us to be, a spirit of humility, and to realize that ultimately our destination is perfection. And that's what He wants for us. Well, let me go on. I'm getting off topic here. There's a book called Scaling the Secular City by J.P. Moreland. It goes into the Kalam cosmological argument, the anthropic principle. It's a great book that covers all of the arguments for a creator. It's a very, very good book. J.P. Moreland is an excellent writer. Darwinian Fairytales by David Stove talks about how Darwinian evolution cannot account for human beings and human behavior. The works of Harun Yahya, and I'll spell that on the little thing below me, Harun Yahya, Hyahya. Now, he's Islamic, right? But I got to take information where it comes from, and just because a person's not Christian doesn't mean I won't read him, right? Obviously. So he's made some very good movies and books regarding, the need for a divine creator and why evolution falls short. And he's an Islamic thinker, and I respect his thinking, even though I don't respect, his decision to be Islamic. Ken Hovind, they put Ken Hovind in jail for 10 years for tax fraud, but yet we got pedophiles walking around free. Absolutely insane society we live in today. Ken Hovind should not be in jail. He made a video called 100 Reasons Why Evolution is Stupid. It's an 11-part series. It's a great video series. If you haven't watched it, I recommend you do so. William Lane Craig, Reasonable Faith. I haven't read that. This is on my things to read, right? As soon as I get through with A Case for a Creator, I'm going to read that one. Case for Christ by Lee Strobel. Blackwell Companion to Natural Theology. Case for the Resurrection by Gary Habermas. Philosophical Foundations for a Christian Worldview by J.P. Moreland and William Lane Craig. The Mind of God by Paul Davies. A lot of these book recommendations I got from a YouTuber by the name of Telemantros. And he's a very young apologetic. He's one of the best apologetics on YouTube as far as I'm concerned. I'll put his link up there too. But Telemantros rocks, man. I watch his videos. I learn a lot just watching his stuff. And of course I've read, the Dawkins stuff, The God Delusion, Ancestor's Tale. I've read Why People Believe Weird Things by Michael Shermer. Michael Shermer and Dawkins, hate religion, want to eliminate all religion from the face of the planet. They can't stand, any thought of religion being introduced in society. If they get what they want, our society will be Genghis Khan, survival of the fittest. You're gonna totally destroy society. There's a Bible verse that says, "Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty." Right, and that's absolutely true. The only reason we have liberty is because we had the Spirit of the Lord and we were a Christian-based society. You take that out, you're going to lose all forms of liberty. Daniel Dennett is another Dawkins-type guy, big evolutionist. I've read a lot of his stuff and I've seen some of his videos. I can't follow his line of thinking at all. It's just, he's missing the point. The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins. I'm running out of time, but wow, I could go into so much more about Dostoevsky, Ayn Rand, Edward Griffin, Victor Hugo, Ron Paul, William Cooper, Jim Keith. The The Divine Comedy by Dante, George Orwell, Aldous Huxley, Thomas Paine, Frederick Bastiat, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. I could go on and on and on. I mean, I just don't have the time. Anyway, hopefully that's 10 minutes worth of books. If you got some good books, please let me know. And it looks like I'm running out of time. God bless every single one of you and take care.